Shalom. All praises to the Most High. All praises to His holy name. I was riding my bike today, and I've been observing this dentist office near me. I can get to conveniently. Even I can walk there. So I said, let me go there. First mind went and said, let's go another day. Then the Spirit told me to go. So I went in, just being myself. I explained to them, I mean no harm. I'm just being myself. She understood. But I was cordial. This is the location. And the young lady seemed pretty pleasant. She seemed pretty pleasant. And I asked her, I said, do you do good faith service? She said, no, we don't. It's not for free. So let me know that she's been watching. But I can't assume that she knows the things that I know. I can't assume that, basically, because I'm not sure if she's been studying. So I used another word. I didn't answer her, nor did I acquiesce when she said no to good faith service. So I used another word. I said, "Well, or do you use integrity? Do your office stand by integrity of their work, of their service?" She said, "Yes." So let's look at what integrity means. Etymology Online Dictionary, integrity, noun. Century 1400, integrate, innocence, blamelessness, chastity, purity. These are the words that the Most High used when He describes good faith. These are the words He used for good works, good faith. So even though she used the word, she said no, but when she said that they stand by integrity, then they are operating in good faith. So that will suffice to me. And I didn't have to argue with it. Integrate, innocence, blamelessness. You can't be blameless if you're doing bad faith work. Chastity, purity. From Old French, integrate, and directly from Latin, integratum. Nominatus, integratus, soundness, wholeness, completeness. Figuratively, purity, correctness. That's good faith. Blamelessness, from integer, whole, integer. The sense of wholeness, perfect condition, is attested from mid-15th century, that of soundness of moral principle and character. Good faith. Entire uprightness or fidelity, especially in regard to truth and fair dealing. Good faith. It's by 1540s. So now if I've established that, she's sworn that they offer good faith work, good faith service. So now I know I'm in good hands. So I use this card here. I hadn't used it in years. And by me using that does not mean I acquiesced at any time. It does not mean that I've lowered my standard of being an American Israelite. That's my right to use this service, being an American Israelite. Then she gave me an appointment date of 5/23 at 10 a.m. But she didn't write my name on there. And I'm going to read it to you again, but I already told you that all names, no matter how they're written, what is ever associated with that name being a birth date in their computers that associated with that name is still mine by right, and that doesn't lessen me to becoming a subject. Because all these things are mine. No matter how they spell it, write it, whatever, I can still use it and not be subjugated to it. Without any debt, encumbrance, or any such thing. So they still got to pay for it. Then she didn't put my name on there, so I put my name on there. My birthright name, given to me by my mother, which had been returned to me without any debt, encumbrance, any such thing, all forms, however it's written. Even the names they created, returned back to me. So they can't entrap me into any kind of bad faith actions. They can't entrap me back in pulling me back down into trying to be a United States citizen. It can't happen. Because all bad faith action goes back to them. Because they've already acknowledged all their wrongdoing. That's why everything has been given back to the Americans who are Israelites. I'm just telling the truth. So I put my name on there and put on there all rights reserved. When I say mine, because it belongs to me. Let's go to scriptures. I could go through that motion again. I've already proven that I'm an American. But the Most High says, 2 Chronicles 7:14, if my people, which are called by my name, shall humble yourselves under what? His truth. And pray or acknowledge him through the same Bible that they use in their quasi courtrooms. They still put it and make you put your right hand on. So it's the same book. I'm just telling the truth. And seek my face, his knowledge, his wisdom, everything that's inside of the truth. And turn from their wicked ways, everything that goes against what he say I am, that's wicked. Then will I hear from heaven, and I will forgive their sin, correct their status, and will heal their land. Let's see who his people are. 1 Kings. See, don't get emotional, man. We're just going the truth. He said, my word is truth. So we're going to the truth, the word. 1 Kings 6:13. He said if we return back to him, then he'll do this. 1 Kings 6:13. And I will dwell among the children of Israel, and I will not forsake my people Israel. So since we're the first ones here on this continent called America, I'm correct in saying I'm an American. And since I'm his people, I'm an Israelite. That Israelite name, or Yasharallah Israelite, goes above any other kind of name they call us. So I'm an American Israelite. And I stand by that, because he does. And America was not created by man. The Creator created America. That's the difference between America and the United States. The United States was created by the Europeans. And I don't need your approval for this, because his word is above all names. His word is above all words. If he said, you can't speak against it. You can, but it's not going to do no different. If you speak against his word, that means you're in bad faith. Because even your courtroom make you hold your right hand up and touch the Bible. Your quasi-court. John 8:36, if the Son therefore shall make you free, you shall be free indeed. I'm free indeed. I'm going to use some of the Roman Catholic Pope's private attorney's words. That agrees with the Most High's words. I object to all bad faith, manipulative words that she used. She goes on to say in the civil order, speaking on behalf of that Roman Catholic Pope, 7/4/2014, all those estates and estates erroneously believed to represent the Americans, and which were conveyed by fraud and legal deceit to the United States of America minor, and more recently to the city-state of the United Nations, are revenued without exception to the geographically defined Americans, where they shall remain in perpetuity as assets belonging to the rightful and lawful beneficiaries. All legal fiction entities, however structured and named after the Americans, are returned to them and their control, free and clear of any debt, promise, encumbrance, or obligation alleged against them as a result of false claims made in their behalf by officers of the United States of America, Inc., and the United States, Inc., or by any foreign officials operating the United States of America Minor, or the United Nations city-state, falsely claiming to represent them or have jurisdiction over them. We note that the current circumstances is in part the result of criminal acts engaged in over 150 years ago, which resulted in the commercial enslavement of African Americans, who were similarly claimed as chattels. Now, that's why I'm trying to tell you, they enslaved African Americans, but the Most High freed us as American Israelites. Even though you use the term American and they call you an African American, but you're really an American, they're still talking about you. I just let you know that I claim to be I'm not afraid of my father. I'm not ashamed of it. That's why I tell you I'm an American Israelite, called by his name. She said, we note. Let's look at the term note. Because she's speaking for that Roman Catholic Pope and all of those, the city, state, and all that. She said, she said, we note. It says, meaning notice, attention. It's from early 14th century. That of reputation, fame is from late 14th century. From late 14th century as marked, sign. She said, we sign it. Or token by which a thing may be known, from late 14th century as a sign by which, I'm not talking about music, meaning a brief written abstract of facts. It's from 1540s, meaning a short informal written communication. It's from 1590s and from 1550s as a mark in the margin, a book calling attention to something in the text. Hence, a statement subsidiary to the text adding or excedating something. From 1680s as a paper acknowledging a debt, etc. So she says, speaking for all of those powers, whether present or past, says, we note that the current circumstances is in part the result of criminal acts engaged in 150 years ago, which resulted in the commercial enslavement of African Americans who were summarily claimed as chattels. See, the books of remembrance tells the same thing as Joseph, our ancestor in Egypt, which lets us know who we are, Israelites. As chattels back in U.S. government debt, it's their debt. In the wake of the Civil War, despite every act that she said she already noted that is written down. They noted it. That's fact. Truth. Despite every act of abolition and declaration of prohibition against both peonage and slavery, there's something they noted. It has been the policy of the U.S. government, the corporation, 28 U.S.C. 3002, section 14 and 15, to enslave its citizens. So if you claim to be an African American or a Negro, you claiming to be a citizen of the United States Corporation. I'm claiming to be an American Israelite. I'm free. And to operate as a rogue state among the nations of the world. Instead of freeing African Americans, the sum total result of the Civil War was to vastly expand public sector ownership of slaves, giving rise to the outrages and improper claims that have been made against the Americans that we are dealing with today. See, she even calling us as Americans. interchangeably. She's saying the slave part is under the headings of African American and Negro and all those things, black. But she noted that we are the true Americans. And she said they note, all of them. They know it. They know the truth, and they already written it down. That's why she went on to say, at the end of the 400-year European meddling, we are free. We're whole. She called us sovereign. Same thing the Most High says. So in that aspect, amen. Let's go to I saw a U.S. Postal Service said, now we serve you. Yeah, they do. And I don't lose 1 ounce of my status of who I am. That's what they're supposed to do, serve. That's what they on the land to do, serve. And I ain't got to be a claim to be a slave to receive what I am owed. I'm still looking up stuff, so I'm taking so long. I object to the term black people, but that's how she titled it. She just said that we are the ones who really are owed the unalienable and alienable rights. Now she's still talking about the Americans, but she said as black people, that's how they try to keep you from it. But they can't make you be black people or African American or Negro. Because once you're free, you're free. That's why I'm trying to tell you, I'm an American Israelite. Even if you just call me an American, I'm still an American Israelite. She says, black people, you've been conned by Anna von Ritz, Roman Catholic Pope, power of attorney. Well, we all been conned, but you've been conned more than the rest of us. From everything I've seen, Martin Luther King Jr. took half of a loaf, a grant of civil rights, and that at least temporarily prevented recognition of the natural and unalienable rights actually owed to the black people. Maybe he thought that half a loaf was better than none. Maybe he saw it as a stepping stone to eventually have the natural and unalienable rights of all people fully recognized and honored. Well, we'll never know what MLK knew or what he thought about this issue, but certain other things are sure. It's certain that the Democratic Party that so many black and colored people identify with, see a portion tell you both of them are full of crap. Same coin with just two different sides. And support has, in fact, been their primary political opponent for decades. Look at the history, look at the voting records. It was Democrats that engineered conferring municipal citizenship on Black people following the Civil War. See, she knows exactly what she's talking about and what she's doing, because earlier she said African Americans. Another place she says Negroes in another writing. And now she's saying Black people. She's letting you know these are not who you are. These are slave names. It was Democrats that engineered conferring municipal citizenship on Black people following the Civil War, effectively making them publicly owned slaves instead of privately owned slaves. It was Democrats who substituted civil rights for natural and unalienable rights too. Civil rights are merely privileges conferred by the municipal Congress, and they can be taken away from the municipal Congress on a whim. That's because you're agreeing to be citizens of a corporation. And the board of the corporation can just take away the rights of any of its slaves from off their paperwork. But your natural and unalienable rights come from nature and the nature's God, Yahweh. That's why she even given more authority to nature's God, Yahweh. So that's what I'm doing, who happen to be my God. That's why she even acknowledges that his word, his law, is above all. And unalienable rights, natural and unalienable rights, inalienable rights, all those things come from the God of nature, as she said, Yahweh. And because I'm his people, I automatically get this right. That's why I say, if my people are called by my name and humble themselves and come back to me, no matter what nobody else say, they can't take these rights from you, because I'm the one to give them. Think about it. You've been snookered. And you don't need municipal citizenship. She's just telling you don't need to be a citizen. It was conferred on you, but you never needed it. Why? Because we belong to the God of nature, who gave us natural, inalienable, and unalienable rights, because this is our land. Then I read another place. She said, the Indians know that they don't own land. Well, that's probably them $5 ones. Because the Most High said we are in his inheritance, and part of his heritage, he's going to give us the land as a gift to us. He said he'll heal our land if we come back to him. How can he heal our land if we don't own land? They don't own land, we do. That's why she said we've been snookered. But I ain't been snookered no more, because I already found out previously that I was not black, colored, African American, any such thing. And I let them know back in 2017 that I was an American Israelite. They already noted that too. You can choose to exercise your birthright political status as an American. You can choose to exercise your birthright political status as Americans. Amen. Instead, you can be truly free and have your natural and inalienable rights respected and protected. You can claim your own assets for your own benefit. See, that's why I went to go claim my right to use these services by my birthright name given to me by my mother. And no matter what they try to do, since this acknowledgement that went out, all fraud and criminal activity is counted to them, not me. Whatever they tell me that is mine by right, I receive it. And if they do something behind the scenes to try to make some fraudulent out of it or try to do something that's, I don't know, behind the scenes that's not right, that's on them. I had nothing to do with it. I'm just receiving what is mine by right. You can claim your own assets for your own benefit. Like every other American, you simply need to know that you have that choice, and then you need to make it. Let's go to another spot. See, it's no way you can get me back into your subjugation status. Because I've already acknowledged who I am, so I got the right to use anything. That's mine. And anytime you try to trick, use deception, that's on you, not on me, because I got the right to use it. That's all that's proven is you being deceptive. Object to Evil by Anna Von Ress, Roman Catholic Pope, private attorney. Evil only survives on its own failure to object to it. On our own failure to object. That's why I object to all things. Gang stalking, everything you do, I object. It only strives when we ignore it and acquiesce to its existence. That's why I always make mention of it, whoever doing it. And then it comes out to play and it gets worse and worse and worse until people wake up and take action against it. Can't accuse me of not taking action against it. So far, we have discovered that a lot of what we have been told about history is wrong. She says that our government has been usurped upon in gross breach of trust by our supposed allies, and that a group of madmen enlist want to kill off the vast majority of mankind, enslave the rest, and rule over as kings over the rest of us. As if that wasn't bad enough, we find that the same source has corrupted religion too, and misrepresented and tweaked the narrative of Christianity and the Baal worship instead, Well, I object to be called a Christian. I'm an Israelite. If you read the scriptures, it's all about Israelites. It ain't talking about Christians. And no time did Christ call himself a Christian, nor any time the disciples called himself a Christian. And the only time Paul mentioned anything about Christianity because he was in court and he didn't really want to be fighting them, so he just said, he said, you almost make me want to be one. He said, not only you, I wish all would be. On the other side, he said they're called Christians versus Antioch. That's where the apostles was. The word apocalypse basically means revealing. When a bright light is shown in the dark corners and the curtains used to hide these things are thrown back. Having been one of those who has done the job of digging up the past and smelling out the bones, I have to say, even I am aghast. Faced with the sheer mass of such manifest and abundant evil, let loose to rampage over all the world, the indoctrination unto evil of your young people by fraternities and other secret societies and cults. The impulse is to shake one's head and think, how could we ever let this come to this? But we've let it come to this and worse before. This is a cyclic phenomenon. Can we learn from our mistakes? The core value, the only imperative is that we must learn to recognize evil for what it is. And we must object to it with all of our might and determination. I always object. And the Messiah said, when he speaks through me and I speak with his words, or I've already written it. Now, you go check my videos. I ain't got to go through that right now because it make the video too long. I'm not lying. Go check the videos. He said, when he talks and I say what he says through me, because I'm the one talking, it's the same as if he's saying it. Go look it up and see if I'm lying. Here's what he said. You might be jealous because you're afraid to speak his word, but I'm not, because I was sent to speak his word. He said, when I say the same thing he say, it's the same as he's saying it. And he backs me. He backing this. As we pause a moment and take into the world that are negligent, see what it is. You got some people that's wicked, man. And you're not listening to what I'm saying for your dislike of me. Anytime I say me of anything, now you got a problem with it because you don't want to see me with nothing. But the Most High said all things are mine because all things is his. I'm going to prove it to you through the word. And because you wicked people, you have no control about nothing that's mine. You don't. You might think you do, but there's powers that's in control that's over you. They're not over me. And they'll make sure I get what is mine, even at your expense. If they got to remove you, that's real. Once the Most High has given the order, and the Roman Catholic Pope has given the order, that anybody stands in the way of the righteous that the Most High has chosen as his elect, that's why they're giving this information. And you're not that important to them. You might think you are. If you stand in my way from me receiving what the Most High got for me, they're going to remove you. Because it's written. You think they just saying these things for nothing? That's why they said by necessity. Because they know the Most High not playing. So since the Most High not playing with them, they ain't going to play with you. So you better stand down. You done got besides yourself. You think you more important than you are. You just a pawn in the game. Yeah, you a little bit of authority in a cell phone with a little apps on it. Now you done got besides yourself. And I'm talking to you like that because I got authority over you. Let's go somewhere else. When he's talking about the authority and all those things, he's talking about his elect. Luke 10 and 19, behold, I give unto you power to tread on serpents and scorpions, and over all the power of the enemy. And nothing shall by any means hurt you. That's his word. See, I'm not going to walk around arrogantly, but I'm going to walk around confidently, though. Because I know anything I do, whether I use this or use that, use this service or that service, you can't trick me or pull me back into being your servitude by their own acknowledgement. I'm still looking for titles. That's what is taking me long. I'm gonna get there though. So when you're doing your gang stalking, you're doing your illusions. You know, you're acting like you can take something from it. You can't. Can't nobody take nothing from me. Nobody. Two different populations. By Anna Von Ritz, Roman Catholic Post Private Attorney. Folks, there are and have always been two different populations here in America. Actual certain federal employees, retirees don't count. See, the Europeans, she's always trying to cover the Europeans. Because she's a European. I'm not being hateful or nothing, but I'm just saying what she's doing. That's why the Messiah said, I've come not except for the lost sheep of the house of Israel. I'm just making sure we straight. Folks, there are and have always been two different populations here in America. Actual current federal employees, retirees don't count as active federal employees. And federal dependents, political asylum seekers, etc., who receive actual paychecks or unearned benefits from the federal corporations are owed discharge of all franchise debts via bankruptcy. See, I object to everything she says that the Most High don't say. And I accept everything she says that agrees with the Most High says. Actual current federal employees, retirees don't count as active federal employees. And federal dependents, political asylum seekers, etc., who receive actual paychecks or unearned debts from the federal corporations are owed discharge of all franchise debts via bankruptcy. The rest of us are owed discharge of the same franchise debt via probate action. The difference is that the probate action not only discharges debts accrued by secondary beneficiaries of our estates, the franchise operated in our names, it returns our land and our other property back to us unharmed and fully restored. So that's what I'm trying to say. Even though I use that name, it's mine to use. And you can't put them in, and since you got a birth date associated with that name, I can use that too. She said all things. And they can't pull me back into being a slave. If you really are a federal employee or unearned dependent, because actually the real me, I was created during the time of Messiah, shortly after him. If you really are a federal employee or an unearned dependent, for example, someone receiving SSI, whoever never paid into invested in Social Security, by all means, take the bankruptcy protection and run. But if you are not a federal employee or unearned dependent, claim your estate back. The debts will all go away just the same. See, I don't owe nobody nothing. But you will also receive back the land and homes and businesses and other things that are rightfully yours. It's that simple. So don't get mad at me if you tell me something's mine and I ask for it. I ain't got to beg for it. And when you say you gonna give it to me, give it to me immediately. It's that simple. And I ain't did nobody no harm. I ain't robbed nobody. I ain't stole nothing from nobody. And if you envy or jealousy that is mine, that's your business. Because it ain't got nothing to do with my business. You need to get hate out of your heart. She already told you they're bankrupted. We're not. That's why the Most High said, my people going to eat and they going to drink. Because when they try to tell you their employees in their jurisdiction that they don't have no money, they lying. Let's go somewhere else. Our credit. They lying. They got it. Retired means retired. Talking about good faith credit, good credit. The positive side. All I'm telling you to do is, however you operate in this, operate with me in good faith. Whatever you're using for my good, make sure I get it. And I ain't got to take no chip or nothing that to get it. I ain't gonna put no mask on my face to get it. I ain't got to do none of those things. Retired means retired by Anna Von Smith, Roman Catholic post-proud attorney. Once you are retired, and that is that. You're owed your pension and health insurance from the government corporation in the same way that you would be owed your pension and health insurance from IBM or Walmart or IEI. You do not have any further obligations to the corporation. They told me this on recorded line. Same thing she said. So you don't owe us nothing. This is our obligation to you. You can live wherever in whatever jurisdiction you wish. You simply have to make a choice. So I can live in any jurisdiction I want. Anywhere I want. But the choice you gotta make is whether you're gonna be a freedom or continue slavery. I already made that choice and let you know the choice I made. I'm free. I'm exempt. Having made that choice, you inform the State Secretary of State that you are retiring from any presumption of United States citizenship or enfranchisement and are returning to your natural birthright status. Like I told you before, all you gotta do is make a video. The internet, the whole world sees it. And proclaim who you are. And object to who they say you are. And return to your natural birthright status, you don't lose anything. You simply change your political status. That's why I say I got the right to go to the dentist and be treated in good faith. And the lady said they gonna treat me with integrity. That is good faith. And she seemed like a nice lady. And I told her, I said, you seem people to be some nice people. You surrender the municipal person created by the birth certificate back to the Secretary of the Treasury. You rescind your voter's registration. And you record the simple improved act of expatriation. See, actually, when they came to arrest me that time, they was just testing me in this. And none of that stuff really, I'm just telling you what really happened. They was really testing me on this. Because the top of the notice, when I looked at it, it said expatriation. And none of it was stamped, none of it was signed, none of that. And the people that came, they got my firearms. Somebody got my firearms right now. But I already let them know that I was an American Israelite. So they still really have to really give it back. But I don't want those no more because I don't know what they've done with them. I want brand new ones that never been opened, never been touched, never been fired. So you don't lose anything by changing to your natural. Matter of fact, you gain everything. That's yours. You don't lose anything. You simply change your political status. You surrender the municipal person created by the birth certificate back to the Secretary of the Treasury. You rescind your voter's registration and you record the simple improved act of expatriation that also covers your domicile and your allegiance to the land jurisdiction state. But more recently, she said all jurisdictions have been given back to us. We're whole. We even got jurisdiction over the sea, which means Revelation came to pass and said, and there was no more sea. That's why that was indicated. Just like when it said John the Baptist, that was a indication that his reign was over and the Messiah's reign was beginning. When that Roman Catholic Pope took the title of Vicar of Christ off of his title, that means no more sea. Because that's what I mean, all the announcements. So anything that the sea does in violation of the sovereigns that she said, she said the black people that she said that's been duped. Now object to that term black. That's their acknowledgement that we are who the Most High said we are. This is not a hate thing, this is a truth thing. You might hate the fact that this truth is out, but we not hate. It said you inform your bank that your account is a private account. I've done that. I make that to be known. And all funds transferred and deposited must be denominated in lawful money. I even let them know that a long time ago when I wrote the probation department, Los Angeles County Probation Department. I said, when you're able, make sure it is denoted in lawful money. I did that back in 2017. They know I'm not lying because I did it. I even put it out there based on what I've heard about Wells Fargo to make sure that they put my quote unquote lawful money in a private account that I'm able to get access to, that they can't touch. Only the one I gave authorization to touch it, which is my son and myself. And he already told me, because he's an American, he already told me he don't operate in good faith too towards me. That's his word. And he also believes in the Most High, so he's going to do us right. And you can't use coercion of threat against him to try to make him do us wrong. So you put a label retired, not for hire on the back of your driver's license. Well, it's their driver's license. It's just if I use it, I'm going to do that. Just for the sake of being wise as a serpent and harmless as a dove. In case they got some pirates out there. But I really don't need it. I object to it. It says you buy forever tags for your license plates and unregister your car. Like I said, I'll probably just order a plate myself and then put on there American Israelite, not for hire, and then I'll probably put on there exempt, traveling purposes only. As a former federal civil service employee, you will have to continue to pay federal income taxes on that portion of your pension that actually comes from the federal employment. If you work for the federal government your whole life, you will have to pay income taxes on the whole amount. If you are in a private employment for 30 years and the bulk of your pension is based on that, you only pay federal taxes on the portion derived from later federal employment. For most people whose only federal employment may have been a 2-year stint as a young man in the military, the amount of their pension derived from such slight attachment to the federal corporation is negligible, and they don't have to pay federal income taxes at all and are naturally exempt. You have not been taught any of this because it was to the advantage of these foreign corporations that you never learned it and never exercise your exemptions and never be free. It is to their advantage. So even if you go get a job, you can just put exempt on there if you're an American. I'm gonna say if you want to get a job. It is to their advantage if they take and never have to pay anything. As a citizen, you are at their mercy and have to accept whatever they give you, just as any slave must. The Most High said that national name is another trick of the devil. I read it to you. So the correct statement is, as an American, you are guaranteed their service and protection and are owed all the guarantees of the original Constitution. I just add Israelite on it out of obedience. Because the true American and the true Israelite are the same people. The de jure. If she already told you who we are. With natural and unalienable rights. Inalienable rights. And it comes from the God of nature, Yahweh. Let's see what we're heading to. Another statement called the final judgment of civil orders. This is basically saying she's given answers based on her knowledge that she has received, and also that she represents the Roman Catholic Pope. And she goes on to say, she said, remember, no, that's what I'm looking for. Yeah. Remember that all valid contracts must be in kind. Corporations can contract only with other corporations. Living people can contract only with other living people. The proliferation of trust has been used as a vehicle, literally creating a commercial vessel capable of interfacing with corporations and entering into corporate contracts. The creation of these individual public trusts and their supposed obligations has been done without the knowledge, consent, or participation of the living people, merely upon the representations made in their behalf. That's why she told you they can't do that. By third parties claiming to represent them, lawyers, unscrupulous politicians. Note that even the original equity contract, known as the Constitution for the United States of America, is between the states and the government, being created by contract to provide the states with services, not with living people. We, the people, are only mentioned as beneficiaries of the natural and inalienable rights that are assessed, held in the National Trust, and further outlined and defined by the Bill of Rights. So we are not direct parties to this or any other governmental service contract. In other words, as living people, these services are already paid for. That's why they, especially the true Americans, they want our autograph. But then the crooked side of them want to try to trap you by third parties. That's where the crooks come in. To try to make you get some more out of you, out your pocket. As for how do governmental services get paid for, your states are inestimably valuable and properly administered. They contain vast material assets that can be utilized to generate income more than sufficient to pay for all governmental services. And this is, in fact, what all the states do. They already generate more than enough income every year to pay all governmental services. They simply keep track of their expenses and provide a billing statement addressed to your estate in hopes that you will step forward and volunteer. That's what they told us. You go call your mortgage company. And they'll tell you this is a third party, basically, company and a collection agency. Now, the way it's still set up, you might have to still give them quote unquote money to buy a house, but that's not right. But to the total transition happen, that's why I told you at the end of the day, I'm gonna tell them, well, return my refund. They simply keep track of their expenses and provide a billing statement addressed to your estate in hopes. Matter of fact, I'm saying on the record, since I know this information and even by coercion that I have to pay what you say bills, I'm letting you know by right if I'm right, and I am, and you held liable because you have already acknowledged the wrongdoing. return my refund that I have access to my private accounts. For the record, anything I pay for that I'm not supposed to be paying for, even if I use money or whatever I use, or whoever pays bills for me, return my refund back to me. Now, I'm not trying to force you to do nothing. I'm saying, but based on your acknowledgments of your wrongdoing, unless you got a leg to stand on to combat it in truth, return it. Return my refund. Like I said, I'm not going to never deny nothing that belong to you if it belongs to you. But if it don't belong to you, I ain't got to give it to you. And I object to it. But I ain't going to cheat you either, though. They simply keep track of their expenses and provide a billing statement addressed to your estate in hopes that you will step forward and volunteer. That's what you're doing every time you pay something. You're volunteering. But I object to volunteer because you've been doing it through coercion. So even through coercion, if that's the only way I'm going to get it is to give you some quote unquote money, well, send my refund back according to what's truth. Let's forward and volunteer to pay a share of the expenses for them, so that their for-profit corporation is enabled to operate without any expense and seize the entire profit for the sale and utilization and investment of your organic state's assets entirely for its own benefit. Let's go to another scripture. Matter of fact, all the homes and stuff that you already foreclosed on, everything that I've done that you know that was wrong, if you got the right to keep it, because I never volunteered to give it to you. If you got the right to keep it, I'm not going to strong on you. But based on this knowledge, and I'm standing on the truth, send me back my refund for every dime I ever gave you to my private account that I have access to. Including the car you took that made me pay over 50-some thousand in extra for a car that wasn't even worth none of that you cheated me for. So return all that back to me. My private account that I have access to, that I can pull out anytime I feel like it once I send my representative to get it. Or if I go get it. Once again, I'm not being unfair. I'm just calling on your bad faith actions in order for you to correct them according to the truth. Like I said, if you can prove that you don't owe it to me, then. But if you can't, return my refund. 1 Corinthians. Is this 1 Corinthians? Yeah. 1 Corinthians 3, 21 to 23. Therefore, let no man glory in men. For all, he's talking to the elect. The elect are the ones that has his knowledge in the king's language. Like Moses, who set the people free. First Corinthians 3, 21 to 23. Therefore, let no man glory in men. For all things are yours. Whether Paul, or Apollos, or Cephas, or the world, or life, or death, the living, and the things they created in death, and stole a lot of money behind the things they created, had to be given back to the living. That's why I said all these things that they created after your birthright name that was caused you to be called lost at sea. Because you're alive, all things are yours. All things are mine, that is mine. And everything attached to those dead things that they gain money from, they got to get all that stuff back to you and me. That's what they said they did. All this wealth and everything attached to it just sitting there because they say ain't nobody there to claim it. Well, I've claimed it. Therefore, let no man glory in men, for all things are yours, whether Paul or Apollos or Cephas or the world or life or death or things present or things to come, all are yours. And you are Christ, and Christ is God's. All right, let's see where we're heading now. Now she's talking about welfare and retirees. Americans are considered to be foreigners with respect to the United States of America minor or the corporation. That's because they're foreigners on our turf. Anyone receiving welfare benefits is considered to be a United States citizen. However, because these programs have been funded with Americans' credit obtained under conditions of fraud, and often have been entirely paid for by the recipients as a group, as in the case of Social Security, some other compelling basis would have to be established before the United States of America minor could convincingly claim American welfare recipients as U.S. citizens. Retirees. The United States of America minor will no doubt attempt to claim that American retirees owed Social Security insurance coverage or welfare recipients receiving benefits. See above. Individual retirees need to object to this interpretation, I already done that, of their status and give notice to the Social Security Administration that it is their understanding that, see, I go through LaSara, which is not Social Security, but it's still the equivalent. That's why they already know this, and they already determined me to be on them. That's why they said, you don't owe us anything, we owe you. Individual retirees need to object to this interpretation of their status and give notice to the Social Security Administration that it is their understanding that Social Security is and was a retirement insurance program that they paid into and are vested in. And not only in any way, and not in any way welfare or benefit of any public charitable trust. This is just more self-interest deceit. American workers paid for every drop of their retirement insurance coverage and are grandfathered in once vested, just as with any other private insurance program. Receipt of Social Security payments does not provide any claim against your status as an American. If the Social Security Administration goes bankrupt, the United States of America minor will be charged as secondary, and so on up the food chain. So she already telling you they're not lacking no way of paying you. I don't care what they say. But you got to be American. He already said, my people will call by my name, will humble themselves and pray and seek my face. Then will I hear from heaven. Then will I forgive their sins and heal their land. James 4:7-10. Submit yourselves, therefore, to God. Resist the devil, and he will flee from you. How am I resisting the devil? By bringing forth this truth. I ain't bringing no harm, no threats, nothing. I'm calm, collected, and reserved. That's why I'm trying to tell you, if he can honestly say that I'm lying about anything, but if he can't, you got to flee. Submit yourselves, therefore, to God. Resist the devil, and he will flee from you. Draw nigh to God, truth, and he will draw nigh to you. Cleanse your hands, you sinners, and purify your heart, you double-minded. Be afflicted and mourn and weep. Let your laughter return to mourning and your joy to heaviness. Humble yourselves in the sight of Yahweh, and he shall lift you up. All praise to the Most High. I've spoken the truth. Nobody can deny. I'm free. I'm an American Israelite. This message is approved by Yahweh. Till next time, Shalom.